has been the summer of love for gold. In fact, since hitting its lows back in June, gold has rallied almost 13% in about 2 months. And according to our next guest, it's only going to get better. So let's start talking numbers with Dr. Ron Paul. He's a former U.S. representative and a highly respected voice on the economy. So we welcome him to our show. Great to have you, sir. Dr. Paul, you know, as we just mentioned, gold has had a great run over a number of years, but a lot of that run has come amid dollar weakness. How much do you think the weak dollar has boosted gold, and to what extent do you see it going higher?
Well, I think eventually gold is going to be a lot higher. Depends on when they turn off the money machine. But the market hasn't discounted the amount of money has been created, since the crisis of 2008. Sure, the gold has been going up for the past 12 years, except for this year, it hasn't gone up. But it's been going up because of this incessant printing of money and creating of credit and all the problems that they create. But I don't think they fully discounted all this money because of philosophy. This money isn't circulating. So even if tomorrow they decide to quit the monetizing, I think there's so much money out there, if it starts circulating, they're going to lose control. I think what's going to happen to gold, it's going to explode when they realize that the economy is going down, that we're really in a recession, which will probably start soon, and the economy is very, very weak and prices are rising. Then what is the Fed going to do? I think it'll be an exaggeration that we had in the 1970s, but they will be between the rock and the hard place, and with that type of disruption, that is when I think gold will really take off. Now, it's recovering a bit from its correction. I think that will continue, but I'm not in the business of saying I know next year what it's going to be or next month or whatever, but it has to go up because the dollar has to go down. They've been doing it systematically, steadily for 100 years, and they took a dollar and eliminated 98% of its purchasing power, and they're doing that more rapidly than ever, but it just hasn't been fully discounted. When it is, gold is going to be much, much higher. Mind you,
you're very bearish on the economy, and not everybody shares that view, right? So with all due respect, and obviously in the last couple of years, gold has increasingly become a retail product. So does it concern you that retail investors have been burned by the latest sell-off and potentially could get burned again?
Yeah, there's always on the short run that is possible, because to have a real commodity money, it has to be a commodity, useful, desirable for jewelry or industrial purposes, just like silver, but it also has to have a monetary function, and that's why gold is different than aluminum. Industrial supply and demand will dictate that price, but not for gold. So there'll be a lot of variables involved. But ultimately, for 6,000 years, gold has been money. I believe it has been acting as money, but it's probably been more acting, with retail purchases and the people who are anticipating the market and are the traders. It's a reflection. But there will be a day when people will resort to gold once again, when they lose confidence in the dollar and all the fiat currencies, unless somebody else comes along with a strong currency and actually links it to gold. And right now, the gold is leaving the West, the European countries as well as United States. The gold actually leaves this area and goes east. So someday there may be a currency that people would want to buy, but ultimately the gold will prevail. Exactly when that's going to happen is another matter.
Indeed, we will see. In the meantime, let's change topics. I want to talk about your new online network. It's at www.ronpaulchannel.com. Tell us very briefly, sir, what the network is about and why you decided not to choose to do a traditional media show.
Well, several people after I left Congress came to me and offered this type of an approach on the Internet, and it seemed to be more natural because so much of my support came spontaneously from the Internet. The campaign thrived on that, and most of the time it was grassroots-led, and it was spontaneous. And people suggested that maybe that group of young people in particular would still be interested in hearing about the policies of liberty on both foreign policy and monetary policy and personal liberties. And that is the reason I went in that direction. And the other thing, I feel comfortable with it because when you're on the regular television, you have time restraints, you have advertisers restraints, and the internet's a little bit more relaxing. You don't have to worry about the clock quite as much. You don't have to worry about going out and getting your advertisers. So it's interactive. We can interact with the subscribers, taking questions and doing interviews. So it just seemed to fit what I was up to. And my main goal is, of course, to continue to talk about the purpose of why a free society is most important.
And certainly people, I'm sure, are enjoying the interaction. It's all about the interaction these days, isn't it? The viewer expects it. Dr. Ron Paul, great to have you on the show. And guys, viewers, be sure to check out the Ron Paul channel at www.ronpaulchannel.com. And that does it for us today. Thanks very much for watching, everybody. I'm Mandy Drury.